I've told a lot of my clients, and I know I've told you, the most valuable thing that you're going to get from your podcast is the connections you make. Yeah. It's the people you interview. Yeah. It's the people that you meet along the way, the opportunities that are going to be presented itself. Because a lot of people go into podcasting, and that's why a lot of people quit podcasting, is because they go into it thinking it's like get rich quick, right? And it's not that at all. That's not right.
There's only one Joe Rogan.
There's only one Joe Rogan.
It's a passion project. Like it's something that you're passionate about, and you're willing to give your time to this industry. You, rent to own, me, podcasting in general. Little did I know a couple of years ago that I would be sitting in here, changing the history of rent to own with you guys.
That's right. That's right.
Are you kidding me right now? That's amazing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Think Outside the BlueBox podcast. I am Anthony Rivera, the lead videographer here at BlueBox Digital, and today I'm being joined by two of my favorite people on the planet. First off, let me introduce the host of the RTO Show podcast, Mr. Pete Shau himself. Welcome to the show, man.
How's it going, guys? How's everything going? How are you doing, man? How's it been, dude?
I am fantastic, man. It's staying busy. Producing your podcast is not easy.
Well, being on the others, this is different for me now. I'm on the other side of it now. I'm used to being on your side of it.
You're used to hearing me in your headphones, and now you get to...
Yes, I get to see the mouth.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
All right, and our second guest today is Stephen Stough. He is the lead videographer and owner at EssToo Creative. Stephen, how's it going, brother?
Man, it's great. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
I'm good to see you, man.
That's awesome,
right?
Yeah. It's always a stretch, man. Like seeing you guys hang out. I mean, last time I saw Anthony in person, we were shooting a piece together, but right before that, he was hidden behind some very large microphone in the studio. Again, like you said, all you see of Anthony is just like a set of eyeballs, and so
I have a face for radio, so I try to hide behind the camera.
Well, that's what my mom always said about me too.
Right, he's so cute. You got a face for radio. And the funny thing is that I think that was the last time I saw you guys was at the shoot.
Yeah. Right? You know what's funny though is that when you and I hang out, he gets jealous and he shows up. And then when me and him hang out, you get jealous and you show up.
Oh man, and he shows
that's
up.
why I'm on the podcast, because you said, well, you called it. You were like, hey man, here's some last minute stuff, but Pete and I are gonna hang out. And I was like, not alone.
What? Alone?
The hell you are.
I can't trust you guys alone? How does that work?
Yeah, right. No, seriously, I get jealous fast. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're fast actors. We're fast actors. I heard that, and I was like, I'm driving already. I just want you to know I'm driving.
He just showed up.
Yeah, but he
made it onto the video, which is great. Like his shot actually was the very end of the video. So
I just want you to know, as I'm driving up, I'm reading some script. I'm like, yo, we're getting on the video. Like one way or another, we're gonna get on the video.
Oh well, that was the thing. Like what was hilarious was Anthony looked at you when you walked in, and you were like, "Hey man, we need a couple sound bites. You better not let us down."
Hey, you're here now. You're on the spot.
Like Pete, we need you, man. We need you. We've had some really crappy interviews today.
Rough day.
It's been rough, bro. It's been rough. You need to come through.
We need your help. So
I podcast for a living. It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's get into that, man. Let's talk a little bit about that project. We were shooting for APro, which is a rent-to-own advocacy organization. And we were shooting some interviews with some of the people that own some of the stores, and we were shooting some of the customer testimonials and stuff like that. Why don't you go into that, and we'll just go from there.
Man, that was a super cool opportunity that APro offered us to come alongside and work with them. And one of the interesting things is I'd worked RTO for a couple of different local RTO companies, the Buddies franchise that had worked in the Tampa Bay area, and also had a chance to work with Rent King and some others. And APro coming up and talking to us about the opportunity to kind of interview and hear really the inside of the business and hear the impact that they're making in the lives of some of their customers was really, really super cool. I think it was really engaging. Anthony and I were constantly asking questions like of Amber, like, hey, can we ask this question? Because it was intriguing. Like some of the stuff that they offer, the ways that they guarantee some of their merchandise and they warranty some of their stuff, and the way that they help move some of the equipment if you're shifting location, like really, really cool stuff. Dude, across the industry.
That is exactly why I love what we do, is because every shoot is completely different. You're learning something completely, especially when you're doing interviews and podcasting and stuff like that, you learn something new every single time. No shoot is the same. So yeah,
that's so true.
You and I learned so much about rent to own that day. Like the fact that you can rent to rent, like the whole RTO gives it such a false sense of like you have to pay this off and rent it, but like you can just rent to rent. Like people,
like half of, like I say half, but like a good amount of business just comes from like snowbirds coming down to just say, hey, I'm going to be in town for 5 months. Can I get a place? And then somebody goes, hey, can I get an extra month? Because like it's still snowing up in
Ontario.
Pennsylvania,
I'm coming from
Ontario,
like North Saskatchewan.
The Arctic,
it's a little cold up there.
Look, like, and one of the examples that was given to us that I didn't even think of is somebody who's going to sell a house, but they want to furnish it so when they're showing it, it's fully furnished. Yeah. Like you could just rent,
which is super cool.
a full house worth of furniture, and then when you sell it, just send it back.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we started the podcast.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I started the RTO Show podcast was because a lot of people really just didn't know that. And that's kind of really where it came from. It was like, how do we get this out? Because we're talking to too many people on a daily basis who don't understand exactly what we do. And we're like, but we do. How do we, like, where's the failure between us knowing and getting everybody else to know? And so, a partner of mine
that gap.
We were working colleagues and we were like, hey, how do we do that? Let's start a podcast. Let's do a podcast. So everybody can see what we do.
Yeah. I remember when your previous partner on the RTO show, you guys had kicked things off, and then, he just, he was like, hey, I'm gonna dip, and you were like, okay, I'll take it from here. But one of the things that you and I had talked about early on was even people inside the RTO industry, especially the new folks and young managers who are trying to find their way up and find their way through, like they just don't understand how certain things work just industry wide, not even at the store level, but literally like, this is what you do. This is what advocacy looks like. And so APro being that advocate for the industry was really cool because, it was like a chance to look at the top down, but also the insights that were offered to us from some of the industry leaders, some of the big managers in the area, people who, and then listening to their customers kind of talk about these managers who had made such a huge difference in their lives. Like, the flexibility offered, or we hit really rough time and, and the manager came through and really found a way for us. And just some of the really, really cool stories.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to get you involved in that because, I had known Stephen through doing that for a couple of years. And he was actually one of the first people that came through. He was helping, Sergio out. EssToo was helping him out. And he was like, hey, let's create this. Because, it was different at first. And so we had this idea that we're going to make some crazy videos and introduce people to rent to own through those videos. And they got wildly successful. I mean, we did some crazy stuff.
I saw you in like a Superman costume.
Oh, there was
you had
many.
Some tights on. That was so entertaining to watch.
And then I actually got into character. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what you wear on a day-to-day basis, right?
Dude, we learned learned so much about mitigating risk and how to do, like, because we were launching Pete out of like the back of trucks.
Yeah.
And like the amount of stuff that we were doing. Like I was like, man, I need some insurance. Like there was so many.
He's gonna get hurt at
like,
some point.
We're gonna kill Pete, and I need to make sure I'm covered.
But it was great. And through doing that, then Steve being a part of that team and now being able to pull you into it and really getting people to see, like, there is a huge part of rent-to-own that people just didn't understand how it worked, how it affects the community, how it affects people directly. And so one of the reasons that, I started the show was because how do we not have that knowledge in these neighborhoods that we serve every single day?
Yeah.
There's only one way to do it. It's to get the people together that I know of and have a conversation about it that anybody can reach.
Yeah.
And that was the way to do it. And that's actually how I found you then at that point in time. It was like, hey, you know what? I got somebody who can do some video. I need somebody who can record me doing this because I'm not that great at it. And here we go. And I tried it. I'm not as good as Stephen is. So I had to listen, I need some help.
Well, you're the one with the podcast.
You're the one with the podcast. Yeah, you got more reach than I do.
And there was many levels to that.
Let's take it back to the beginning. Like what sparked the idea? I know you and your partner kind of talked about it or whatever. Like how did that begin? Just from the very beginning, like what sparked that idea?
Oh, so let's go back to APro, right? So there was an APro convention that we had gone to, and we had seen things at a whole different light, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about regionally, including it was in the Tampa Bay area that year. It was regional, and you have these national people that are coming down, right? And we're like, how do we get our word out? at that time also, we were working with EssToo Creative, right? So it was like we saw one side of it, but it was like these messages that we have are a little bit more tailored. The commercials were great. They were absolutely fun to bring people in the door, but it didn't give them a message. It was like, hey, you should come here because this is absolutely great. So what we did was we decided we've got to talk to somebody. Are we going to start a YouTube channel? Like, heck no, man. I don't know nothing about a YouTube channel. And at that time, we didn't know that much about podcasting. We're like, you know what? But we're talking. And if we're talking, let's start a podcast. We didn't have to have a camera. We could just talk about it. It was just two guys kind of formulating ideas and discussing them and kind of reviewing them. And so it kind of came out. And we had no idea what we were doing, but we were like, we got to get the message out. So we got a laptop and we got one microphone in between us. We're like sharing a microphone.
You guys are scrappy.
It was crazy. But you know what, though? It was the idea. And he always had a statement. He had a statement that like followed me after he said it, but it was, ready, fire, aim. And it was like, don't think about it too much. Just do it.
Yes.
And so I literally grabbed something. I grabbed like a free list of, it was Audacity and a microphone that we got. I didn't even know how to do two microphones
Audacity.
at a time. So we were going back and forth, and it was like, let's just put it out. And then, the RTO show was the Rent-To-Own show. I mean, what else could it be, right? So it was the RTO show, and then we just started going from there. And then that's how APro picked us up. APro was like, hey, man, you guys are doing something that we really haven't seen before. And they were literally, their tagline is the voice of Rent-To-Own. And I'm like, well, I'm going to take that. So we started talking about that. And then APro came and said, hey, I want to sponsor the show. And I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go from there. And it just kept going.
Wow.
And then you've had some really cool opportunities. I was tracking the show recently, Pete, and you had actually had some really cool opportunities to talk to like some of the biggest names in the RTO game. Yes. Over the last like couple months, right? I mean, like you've been talking to like the guys who started it all or really, got their hands dirty and kind of started making the industry what it is, right?
Well, that was kind of part of the Legend series that we started. So with APro, we've done a couple of things. So number one, the Legend series was to be able to talk to people who were industry 40 years and longer. And now the industry started like in the mid 50s, but as things happen, unfortunately, we lost a couple of people. So we said, all right, let's do 40 years. So in the 80s somewhere, they started these organizations and being entrepreneurs and going to their state houses and being like, hey, we don't even have regulation. Like, we need to get regulation. And there were a lot of people like, I'm not going to sell anything to you because I don't even know who you are, right? Like, you're not going to rent this stuff, right? Are you going to rent it? And so it started and it just kept going from there. And then amassing all that information with APro together with the podcast, we were actually able to help make a book called The RTO Revolution. And it was written by Ryan Krass and Charles Smitherman, who, is the CEO of APro. And together, as we've done that, then we pulled you guys in to do some of the videos so that we can share it with people, everyday people that listen. You can say what you want to, but the people who are using it are definitely glad that we're here. They're using us every day, and they don't even mind going on camera and saying that out loud to the world. Hey, I needed it, and they had my back. That's just as easy as it gets. So,
Charles is that genius that you keep telling me about, right? Charles is the guy with like 57 letters past his name.
Yes, so he has so many monikers in the back of his name. It's like a choo-choo with a long caboose. And I always poke
like
fun
MD, PhD, RBI.
He is literally certified as a CEO. He is a JD. He is a PhD. And there's something else. And I'm like, dude, like, how long did you go to school for? But he's literally like one of the smartest guys I know. And I think he's climbed like Mount Everest. And now he can say he's written 2 books. I'm like, dude, seriously.
Come on, right? I mean,
leave awesome. Some of it for the rest of us, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, leave some effort. This is a guy who literally leaves it all on the field. I mean, holy cow.
He does.
That's
and then
crazy.
With that idea, he was like, Pete, we got to talk about the podcast. And at first I was like, oh boy, I'm getting called into the teacher's office. You know what I mean? No. And he was like, we've got to talk about putting this. APro wants to back this. Like, what do we need to do? And from there, we got into the RTO HQ magazine that runs 2 times a year. We got a full page ad. We are on their website. They are on our website. And it just goes back and forth. And then again, it helps me reach out to some of the people who have helped me in the industry. EssToo Creative was one of the first people that really started doing our videos. I mean, our videos went from like mildly entertaining to holy crap, that's really funny.
That's outrageous.
So our first one was this it was a tax
video.
You're
gonna make me blush, boys.
It was this tax video, and it was great because it had this headline and we were doing it and I was terrible. And Stephen between takes wanted to choke me to death. But
dude, you were taping your script on your buddy's chest.
I did tape it on his chest.
I'm like, just learn the lines, man. It's 3 lines.
Some of us can't remember.
Dude, I tell him, I'm like, look, when it comes to ad-libbing, I'm your man. But when it comes to like really getting it, like I was terrible. So eventually we learned to just ad-lib everything. No, I'm just kidding. But we got through it, and it was so much fun, and it created such a buzz that we just kept going with it. And with his help, being able to like really get out to the community, like really, really get out there. And then like, okay, what does rent-to-own have that I might want? Because you also have to understand, it's not people just in need, right? Like you said, if I'm going to have a house and I'm trying to sell a house and I'm going to stage it, is that a need or is that a want? I want to stage it. Do I need to? No, but now I have the ability to get like 3 bedrooms of furniture. I can put something in the living room, set something in the dining room, and a month later, if I got it sold, I don't owe you anything. You can come get it, and we're all set.
Literally, you could just.
And it's just the way it goes. And did everybody know that? I don't know.
No.
But after they saw that tax video, they did now, right? And there was a lot of videos. There was a lot of crazy videos that we made. I mean, we did a Christmas video. We did 2 tax videos. We did the Black Friday video.
Did any of that stuff make it on TV? Was that like TV commercials, or was that just?
It was we're all straight YouTube, and then what's the one that Amberly used to show it in all the stores? Because man, you guys were raging through the stores.
Oh my god!
Oh, you actually showed it in one of the stores.
Yeah, so there was like
all the stores.
I think it was like Atmosphere or something like that. It was like
Atmosphere, like one of those Atmosphere kind of things that show like your own content. So YouTube was going nuts, and then all of their stores were using this Atmosphere program, which allowed all of those videos to kind of like just kind of run in the background of the stores.
Yeah,
but
so like every 30, 40 minutes. Actually, probably less than that. But I'm gonna say that I say that, and it was probably less than that. Yeah. So we were actually got to the point where we were actually making videos with our video playing in the background.
Wow!
And we would wait for it. We'd wait for the cycle to come through. Yeah, there's one of them where we're sitting in the chair. We're sitting in the chair, and it was like for Father's Day, and we're like, "Hey, I think that know that guy on the TV," and he's like, "Yeah, I think I know that guy." It was.
You're jumping into a lake.
Oh my god! It was like we broke the 4th wall in the opposite direction. It was crazy, man. It was. I loved it. I loved every part of it. It was probably one of those things that I could say, I can always go back and say, but have you done this?
Yeah. No, I'm sure you're super proud of that, man.
Oh, I loved it.
Not only that, like you, especially with this Legends series that you've done, and now taking those transcripts and making it into a book of the history of RTO, you're part of it, man. You're a part of the history of the industry. Yeah. Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, you know what? Amazing doesn't get to begin to start that because, as you're doing podcasting, I think a book is probably the farthest thing because you're actually making your books every day, right? You're making your life stories 1 hour at a time. So you're like, you don't think about that. But as this was made, they were like, okay, so there hasn't been a definitive book made in rent-to-own to describe what's going on, right? And we need that because there's that moniker. We might be doing it in our region, but is it going around everywhere? And does everybody really understand how this started and where it's going? So they said, okay, we need to make a book. Number 1, for mass distribution so that everybody can understand definitively where we came from, what happened, what legal issues that we had, how we came on board. Definitively also says, hey, if you have AI, where is it getting its information from if you don't have a definitive place to go? And so if it starts pulling it from videos that are not real, right? So in other words, you can have an AI create a video, you can have somebody saying something because that one-off chance that it wasn't the best thing in the world, right? And so they made 3 videos about that. But was it really what happened? It's a one-sided story, right? So now it's like, not only do we want to make that outreach, but where is AI getting its information from? If you're Googling something, where is that coming from?
Right.
Let's
you
create
definitely
a basis
want something authoritative out there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, of course, Dr. Charles, he was like, hey, man, let's do this. Now, of course, Ryan Kraft being the CFO that he is, the CTO, excuse me, he was like, hey, we need to do this. And Charles was like, hey, let's facilitate this. They got this idea together. And then I got a phone call. And it was amazing. And then I think that's where you guys came in when they were like, hey, we're going to also do this because New York is having a little bit of a problem with some of their legal issues. That we've had a law, a statute up there for like 25 years, and they're deciding that they want to challenge it or change it a little bit. And we're just not credit. It's not a credit transaction. We want people to be able to bring it back without any burden. That's part of the process. If you have a credit transaction, you go buy a car, it doesn't matter what happens to the car. You own the debt. That debt is yours. Unlike rent-to-own, where if you get it and you can't afford it, you're more than welcome to call them and say, hey, I need a break. It can be a break for a day. It can be a break for a week. It can be a break for a month. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Bring it back. Doesn't go on your credit. And so when they start trying to change it to a credit transaction, we've really got to hold the brakes and say, hey, this is more important. We are trying to watch out for the people in the community that don't need that on their, they already have credit problems. So you don't need any more.
Right.
How do we do that? So then that's when you guys come in and with us and some of the people that are in the industry and say, hey, not only do they need it, but there's a great reason for us. And let me tell you why. And just bring these people in from all over, not just from one company or one area, but all over in one voice and say, hey, we're good. We're so good that we're going to tell you about it. In APro Video, which is the Association of Progressive Rental Organizations. And that's a huge organization to be a part of. As a matter of fact, in April of next month, we're actually going to DC to advocate for rent to own. It's something that I'm a part of every year, and I'm glad to say that I get to go up there and talk to some of the people that you see on CNN and Fox News directly and say, hey, we are doing great, and we love everything you do, but we're good. You don't need to change a thing. We're good. And I'm glad that you guys were a part of that. You guys did an amazing job, by the way. I've seen some of the early cuts. And
and thank you guys for bringing me in.
We're blushing.
It was so good, man. It was so good.
Thank you guys for bringing me in because...
Well, Pete came in with that connection. I was like, hey man, what are you doing? And so after we had done that interview, I was like, dude, this guy is gold, man. He's awesome. Like, I love this connection. And we've worked...
I didn't pay him
5
to say
projects.
That,
yeah, no, he didn't at all. No, he didn't at all. But I will send a bill.
Here we go.
I'll send you Cash App.
But I will be sending a bill. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hit me up. I got Venmo. I got Cash App. But that connection, I mean, like we've done like 5 different projects together now. And so some RTO stuff, some construction stuff, some nonprofit work together. And
dude, I've told a lot of my clients, and I know I've told you, the most valuable thing that you're going to get from your podcast is the connections you make. It's the people you interview. It's the people that you meet along the way, the opportunities that are going to be presented itself. Because a lot of people go into podcasting, and that's why a lot of people quit podcasting, is because they go into it thinking it's like get rich quick, right? And it's not that at all.
That's not
right.
There's only one Joe Rogan.
There's only one Joe Rogan.
It's a passion project. Like it's something that you're passionate about, and you're willing to give your time to this industry. You rent to own, me, podcasting in general. And it's the people you meet, it's the opportunities that you're going to be presented. Little did I know a couple of years ago that I would be sitting in here, changing the history of rent to own with you guys.
That's right. That's right.
Are you kidding me right now? That's amazing. So thank you guys for sure.
Well, I know that every time that I do something, especially with you, I enjoy it. It's not just doing it and saying, I get to mark this off my list. This is something great that I did, and I want to put this on my resume or some kind of board note somewhere. I don't really care about that stuff. What I like to say is I did great things with great people. Yes. And it made a difference. Yes. We didn't just do it in our backyard and it sat there, right? It's something that you get to do and watch it grow. Something that I would have never guessed. If somebody would have said, you 2 nut jobs that did this tax video are going to literally be making a video for APro for a couple years from now for like legal advocacy, I'd be like, there's no way, right?
No way.
And now, there's a podcast dedicated to how rent to own works, whether it be leadership, whether it be business, whether it be community outreach, whether it be the fact that we're being attacked legally and we have a right to stand up for ourselves and tell them this is something that they want, and then be able to reach out to our communities and show that they literally want it. I would have said, you're crazy. There's just no way in the world. But then here we are.
One thing that I learned that I didn't know about the industry is that you guys can, if it's not in the store, you can still find it, purchase it, and then offer it to your customers.
Oh God! Let me tell you. What
are some of the craziest things that you've seen,
dude?
Hospital bed.
Dude, well,
hospital bed,
like
no
gourmet
way.
Purses or whatever. Like the lady who was like, I think I want this.
We have Michael Kors. Yep,
like
Coach Michael
custom
Kors.
kind of thing, and she was like, "Yeah, I got you, fam." I was like,
no, it's one of those. I've seen hospital beds.
Yeah.
I've seen pool pumps. Right now, I actually work with R&R.
Really?
Rent-to-own pool pump. I work with R&R Tire Express. I mean, you can get those really big truck tires. Not a big issue, man. You're going to find if somebody really wants it, and as you go through, you build these relationships with these people, and you got Tom, who's been with you for 3 or 4 years. He's doing everything he can to stay on top of. He's paid off some account. Yeah, I'm going to get him something.
Damn.
You want a picture of Picasso? It's coming, baby. We're going to make that happen, and that's part of rent-to-own as well. The relationships that we build. I mean, you guys know the relationships that we've built doing the stuff that we do because, being able to bring you in, Stephen, and then introducing you over here to Anthony, and then you guys being able to do things on your own as well as what we do with the podcast or what we did with APro. It's like...
Yeah, it's been huge.
That's it. It's just one of those things. The networking, like you said, is probably one of the best and most important things that you can do. Figure out what you need to do introduce people who can make it happen, and let the fireworks go. You know, that's just what it's about.
I love that. Yeah, you're the connector, man. You're the glue.
I'm like that 6-cord outlet that you find at IKEA, man. You just start plugging it in.
Like I'm telling you right now, Anthony. Like Pete is what Malcolm Gladwell calls a maven. If you read The Tipping Point, this guy is a full maven. Like he's not even a partial. Like he's like, here's some things, let's make it happen. It's gonna go. We got it going on, and he's just gathering people unto himself. It's just
Let's just gather. We just gather.
Hey,
okay, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird. Well, I'm just trying to give the guy a compliment. He's making it weird.
No, it's awesome. It really is awesome. I don't know if that makes it. Well, Monty video. There we go. So, but it's great. It's great to be a part of things like that, because when you watch what you create grow, or what you're being a part of grow, it gives you that signal that, you know what, it's real. Like it's real, because I've been a part of things where like, it's genuine, because I've, you know, things that are forced, you see them and it's like, it just didn't work. It fizzled out. Yeah. This hasn't fizzled. I mean, the podcast is now going on 3.5 years.
Dude, you're killing
been
it,
doing this. I mean, the show has been great, doing the Legend series, helping out with the book, going to LegCon, having you guys a part of this, and creating more and more. That's how you know the connection is real, right? That's how you know the networking is part of something real. Because if not, we would have finished off with, you know, that microphone going back and forth, and we'd have just been like, look, dude, you gonna go? I'm gonna go. We're good. You know, let's just call it a day.
Exactly, for sure.
Dude, the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode 20. So if you guys are above, if you guys are above 20 episodes, you've made it in the podcasting world.
Holy
it's because of that. It's because
he passed 23.5 years ago.
Yeah,
like, he's been grinding hardcore.
So it's so great to be able to talk to the people.
Yeah, and it's kind of what you said before the show. It's like everybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody has a fucking podcast nowadays.
Yep.
So there's so much out there. There's so much content being created. Is like, how do you stand out? So not because you're my client, but I think you found a niche, man. I think you are the face and the voice of the RTO world. And that's what you pretty much have to do, right? Like find this niche that nobody's serving, that feels underserved, and, you know, fill that hole. And you've done a great job.
Well, I forgot who it was, and I'll be able to, I'm going to say his name after we close out today, but he, you know, as I was watching on YouTube, because I learned to YouTube University my way onto podcasting.
I love it.
And one of the things he said was, there's riches in the niches. And I was like, what does that mean?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, and so it took me a little while to realize, I'm like, you know what, instead of going out there and really creating something for everybody, I'm up against, like you said, every Tom, Dick, and Carrie that has a camera and a microphone is out there. What can I do to be different? Nobody's talking about rent home. Nobody is going, and not even with purpose, because they'll be out there and just talk about anything, anytime, anyway. This is not only a podcast, but I get to do it with purpose. There's something that I want to show you, whether it be the leadership or who's doing it or the people involved or how they grew or how they created or how we get to do what we do. That was a purposeful thing. And that niche just, you know what? I am blessed to do what I do. I'll be honest with you. I'm blessed to have you guys involved in it too. I love doing that.
Out of curiosity, what made you reach out? I know you were doing the podcast from your house for a while. What made you kind of step up the quality and reach out? So
there was a point where I had a small studio involved in one of the stores that I was running. It was this massive warehouse, right? So they had this part that was a warehouse, and there was the other part that had, like, they had the store, and then they had offices. The sketchiest location in the history of time. It was crazy, man. That is an evil laugh. It was a dark and stormy location, man. It was a dark and stormy night. He's like, hey, can you check out this thing they're gonna let me do this podcast? And I was like, it feels really kind of right. It was better that he made it into the room, and he was like, okay, it's not too bad. But I got it, and I was like, you know, I told him, I said, hey, there's a lot of offices over here. Like, do you mind if I use one? And they were like, no. The only qualifications were you can't do it while you're working, right? There's got to be a separation of this and what you do. And I was like, I got that. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Like, I do this all day. And so I got this room, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I call Stephen. I'm like, dude, help me out here. I'm like, help me with this room. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know about the lighting. I don't know anything. And then he shows up, he helps me out. And that's really where I was like, I enjoyed it so much. I was like, you know what? I can't keep bottlenecking myself. I've got to keep on moving forward. And when that situation changed and we were trying to figure out where I needed to go, that's when I found BlueBox. And it was like, yeah, you know what? Not only do I need to be in a place where I can do this full time, but I also need to take some of the editing off my shoulders. Because, and I said, there was many a nights, and he didn't say it yet, but there's many a nights I've had Stephen on like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And
you gotta get this edit out.
No, he is literally dialed into my computer, and he's using my editor because I'm like, I don't know. Now, mind you, now I can edit a lot better than, I can't edit like you can, but I can edit a lot better, right? But it was like, and I told him, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, don't worry, you'll get there. And I'm like, dude, this is like Chinese to me. I don't understand. And he's literally dialing in 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. This is just put this here, put that there. And he's like, go with it. Tell me how it works in the morning.
Trust the process.
Like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. But it worked. And then again, well,
he's
like,
one of those things. Poor Pete is like, I gotta get this episode out. I'm like, next time don't call me at midnight, dude. And so we're doing it. And he's like, I gotta go put my baby to sleep. I'll be back in like half an hour. And I'm still like,
that's dedication right there, man. That is some dedication.
But like I said, and I'm going to always go back to this. The real connections are the ones when you have something going on and you can say, I need somebody. And they can say, I got you, man.
I got you, bro.
I got you. And for those things, I've always loved Stephen for that. There's never been a time where he's been like, you know what, dude? No.
Figure it out.
Like, you're good. You're good. Like, he's always helped me out, whether it's getting out of a lake or whether it's getting in a Superman suit. I have done a lot with Stephen, and so he's done a lot with me. And it's really been one of those things, like, again, I'm blessed to do what I do. There's been many a nights that we've together have put this podcast together, and nobody knows. I mean, you'll never know, but now they know. Now you know.
I guess the secret's out now. Yeah.
But the thing is too is like, and when you have a podcast and you're putting things together, if you don't go through those things, you almost don't appreciate it enough.
Yes.
And so you're on episode 19 going at 20 and going like, what am I doing? Is this even worth it?
Is it? Yeah.
Like,
because your numbers aren't that high at that point.
Yeah, you're not. If you're not willing, listen. If you're not willing to put in the time, right?
Yes.
Put in the time, put in the energy, and it will come back to you. It will always come back. To you.
It's hilarious. I had this. I had a good friend of mine. He's a theologian, and he's probably one of the smartest guys theologically in the Tampa Bay area, if not the broader Florida. And he and I did this podcast called Questioning Faith. And I think we got like 10 or 12 episodes, and he got so busy. And so it became hard. But like, here we are years later, and we still get questions in, and we still get people going, hey, this is, I disagree or I agree. And we'll still get comments on the different videos. It's wild. It kills me that we quit it, but he just, he's busy getting his like upper doctorate or whatever it was he was working on. But, but it's one of those kind of things. But yeah, I mean, it's, you learn so much, you grow so much, you figure out you figure out the tricks, and so when I saw Pete consistency is king. When I saw Pete stumbling over his own self, I was like, man, I gotta help a brother out, and like you said, it's the relationships you make along the way, Pete. I agree.
No, and it's consistency too, because consistency compounds over time. So if you're only up to your 20th episode, you're in the single digits, you're getting like 3 views, you're asking yourself, why am I putting so much work into this? But like you said, just keep doing it, because in a couple of years, you're going to look back and you're going to regret not continuing.
Listen, you take those 3 viewers and you run.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You guys are coming with me on this journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you have because every once in a while you'll have that hook episode where like I found this to happen with other friends who have kind of explosive podcasts too. And they'll have one episode that just has this weird thing that somebody will tweet out, or they'll be like, oh, hey, and they'll share it and they'll love this part. And they'll be like, oh, hey, check this out. Or they'll make a short of it. And all of a sudden somebody goes and finds you. And then you're like, I only have three views on that episode. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have 3,000 views on that episode.
Yeah.
And then and so then it just, it grabs and goes. And video just has that type of tendency. Audio is a little more of a struggle. That's why I spent years trying to jump up and down on Pete's desk going, get a camera, Pete.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Cause I the first 2 seasons were only audio. And then, that's when APro steps in, right? They're going to sponsor us. And I said,
you got to step it up.
Stephen, I finally have something. Like, what should I buy? I ended up buying, because I couldn't afford anything else, I ended up buying 2 really big SD cards and 2 really small cameras.
Dude, GoPro was my boy's future, man.
Dude,
I was like, he's like, what should I do? Because I'm like, well, I would tell you to get a couple of Sonys or like some Canon. And he bought the jankiest Canon, and I was like, you take that back right now. Like that is not going to work for you. You take that back right.
So I go to a pawn shop, and I was like, it's got all the accessories, and he's like, dude, that thing is like 10 years old, and I was like, oh man.
It was 14 years old.
Oh, okay, my bad. It was 14 years old. Yeah. So I ended up buying the GoPros. It was like, you know what? We just go ham on it, man.
Sometimes you got to be scrappy, man. I say use the camera you use, or use the camera you have.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
A lot of the times, if you just record and put it out there, it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or if it's a $10,000 camera. Like what stays with the people is the message. The intention.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The repetition. Yeah. Right? You keep showing up, and people will keep showing up for you.
Just so you guys are aware, and he knows this. I don't know if my third camera was an iPhone.
Yeah,
my third camera was an iPhone. So I had two views, and the center was an iPhone. And that's what he said. He's like, "Hey, man, that's what we got. Well, that's what we're going to use.
Use what you got."
And it got us through. It really did. Now, obviously, things have changed since then. And it's crazy because right after I got the cameras and I've used them a couple times, I just started coming here.
Dude, for real. Like I was like, and then he was like, and somebody was like, well, what's your kit now? And he's like, well, I use a combination of Blackmagic and Canon. I was like, so you go to Anthony's? I was like, he's like, oh yeah, I've got a great high-end podcast kit, and I'm like, turd, are you kidding me? You're going to Anthony's?
Damn right.
Just say what it is. Say what it is.
We make it look good, baby.
I go to BlueBox, and BlueBox is making it happen for my whole situation. Yeah.
And everybody, so a lot of people have commented on that. Yeah, a lot of people said that. Like, something changed. Yeah, I got somebody else to do this shit. I had to lean in and get somebody who knew what the hell they were doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but like when you started with the iPhone, right? So you worked your way up to being in a studio with professional equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my whole point. Is like just start. Stop worrying about the equipment. Stop worrying about the quality up first. Get past those 20 episodes. Once you get that momentum, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you first start grinding, I mean, Pete was right. That thing when you first start grinding, man, like you said, getting those episodes down, because hiring a studio is not free. You gotta have a guy who's coming in.
Cost,
you got rent to pay, and everybody does, and so you go, well, I mean, that's a little bit too much when you start. So, but like you said, grabbing that iPhone, dance with the one that brung you. The only other thing I would say at the beginning is, as best you can, be close to a microphone that records well, because audio is people will forgive bad video if you've got good audio.
Yeah. That was the first thing he told me. That was literally like, I don't even know if we knew each other's name, and then he was just like, listen, good audio, bad video. I was like, what are you talking about? My name's Pete. No, it was really funny because it was that little short guy over there. Listen, audio is king. And no, we had such a great time. And I got to say though, when you start doing stuff and you don't really know, right? There's a knowledge in there. Like, I don't know if this is going to happen. You have to look deep down and be like, it doesn't matter if I know what's going to happen. I just know that today I'm going to make it happen today. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to record what I need to record, and it's going to come out. And if you don't, I got to say this, if you don't go back over your own material, figure out where you can get better and make it better, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Get out of your head about it.
Yeah. Because you know what? I must have watched that, the first Max Your Tags video like 100 times. And then I watched the bloopers 100, because I literally fell out of my chair. Like, the funnies, I fell out of my chair laughing. But, it was like, okay, what can I do?
I wish we could have shared some of those bloopers with other people, but I was like, that's way too much profanity. No, I don't even know.
Not the real bloopers. Way too much profanity. There is a blooper reel, but the real blooper is like the real blooper.
Yeah, the real bloopers are like, yeah.
But we did that, and I really did. Like, it sounds crazy because I'm nowhere near professional, but I went back and like, what can I do better? How can I say it better? How can I lean into the camera better? What am I doing differently that I could, change this to make it work better? And so as we went along, I really, because Stephen is not scared to ask you to do some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, whether I was jumping out of a moving vehicle, or whether we were in the lake, or whatever, whether I was teleporting myself by doing all kinds of weird things.
That's my original statement about insurance.
Yeah. So, but it was one of those things like, how can you make it better? And it was like, I just told myself, if I don't do it, I won't get better. I just lean into it. And I mean, there was even a night or two that I called Stephen, like it was late. It was late, and I was literally walking through Winn-Dixie, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, what am I, like, literally, what am I doing? Am I good at this? Like, I don't even know what's going on. And
I remember you asked me that too when you and I first met. You're like, what do you think? Like, honestly, give me your honest opinion. Like,
because I want to know. Because I've gotten to the point. It's like I want to know because I want. And Stephen was like, "Dude, you're nuts, but you got what it takes."
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Let's do it.
I was like, you got what it takes, man. You're very well spoken, and
it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare. And that's one of the things I admire about you, man, is that you're constantly trying to get better. You recently told me that you're going to go to some class to help you do public speaking. And like, see, it's that kind of stuff. Like you're willing to put in the effort to make your content better.
Yeah. Well, you got to, right? You got to grow. Yes. If you're not growing, we're dying, right? You can't stay still because it just doesn't work.
I'll offer you this. And Pete, I've always said this about you, but you find people fascinating. And I think because you find people fascinating,
it comes through.
Is remarkably like it comes across like you're so genuine. And so I think the RTO show translates because they could be, I mean, and you've had some sticks in the mud.
Real winners.
Yeah. They're all great. Every single episode
winners.
is
They're all winners.
Real winners.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all, God loves everybody.
Yes.
You know, and some of us have trouble loving them too, but God loves everybody. Right. But that's that idea. But what's really, what I think what really bleeds through for me when I watch your podcast and stuff, man, is I think you find people fascinating. And so you are, I mean, sometimes it takes a little effort to kind of help the podcast
break
along.
Through the shell.
Break through the shell. But I think the fact that you find their stories fascinating is an encouragement to me. You and I've talked about starting a podcast and a couple of other things as well. And I think that's my biggest takeaway when it comes to you specifically, Pete, is find people fascinating. And if you can't, then probably don't start a podcast. Because if you're only interested in hearing if you're only interested in hearing yourself talk, then you can start a YouTube channel where you just offer advice. But if you're going to start a podcast, find people fascinating. You know, so and Pete, I think you do that better than most people I know. Well, I think Anthony would agree with me there.
Well, so turning it around a little bit,
Let's
man.
do it.
What got you started into podcasting? Because you do well behind the camera, and I think Stephen will attest to that. Like you do great editing, you do great camera work.
The guy's a machine. He's a machine.
But usually you don't find both, right? I mean, you know, Johnny Carson wasn't failing himself. You know what I'm saying? So like, how does it work? How do you put yourself in front of the camera after going through all that? What really got you to this side of the camera?
I think what the most important thing to note is when you're in a career, especially in the arts, I think it's important to be able to pivot, because not a lot of times, especially when you're in our industry, work is not very steady. You know, when you're working in video production, hey, you know more than me, so it's hard.
He was like, yeah, you're like,
seriously, there is like everything to do, or there is nothing to do.
Yeah. So you're literally like constantly going, carrying your equipment everywhere, recording video, editing, or you're just sitting on the couch waiting for the phone to ring. And it's those times that it gets you thinking, at least for people who are entrepreneur and have that mindset of, I got to keep going somehow. So I had to pivot when work started to dry up a little bit. I decided that the best thing to do, I was just sitting around the house and I saw the equipment and I was like, you know what? This will make a great podcast studio. Like, I'm just going to start my own podcast and just start putting myself out there. And the more people see my face, they're going to, reach out or whatever. And I thought it was going to lead to more commercial work. It's going to lead more to me going out there and shooting. But what ended up happening is, when I started the podcast and I started putting out some of these, I was smart because I got local artists to come in and I would just interview them. Like, hey, I'll give you some free content.
Free advertisement.
Free advertisement. So when I started putting those out there, they went viral. Like, I was getting thousands and thousands of views from, people who follow them.
Right.
And then they started reaching out to me and saying, hey, your podcast looks great. Like, I love your camera. It looks really good quality. It looks super sharp. I love your lighting. Like, where do you shoot? And I'm like, this is my studio. Like, I built it. It's my house.
Like, what you mean where? The blue box,
exactly.
man.
What you talking
You're
about?
in the blue box right now.
Blue box. But you know what I find too, especially is when you're doing it, when you have the professionals that do both sides, because I've seen Stephen act, literally acting on stage, is that you tend to appreciate both sides of it when you've done both sides of it, and it's different, right? Yeah. So when you start talking to people, they're like, yeah, I've got this camera and I've got this lighting and you're doing this, and you've never been on that side, you don't really appreciate what it can do for you and what it does to you until you're trying to get somebody to do what you need them to do on the other. I need to turn to the left. No, I need to put this camera. Okay, you're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Your other
That's
left.
How you learn.
But when you get on both sides, your other left. But when you do it and you start to get to realize like it's a challenge on both sides.
Yeah.
And really, I think you appreciate it more because you understand it more.
Yes.
It's not just sitting in front of the camera and going, okay, I'm done. I get to walk off. I know that there's, editing to be done behind that. I know that one gaff is, okay, I got to find that gaff, and it's somewhere in this episode that I've got to take out. Yes. I've got to make sure it looks good. And if the coloring isn't good, I've got to make the coloring look good. They don't understand that, right? And until you do it, it's like you just don't understand it. And I value what you guys do to the umpteenth degree
because you've done it.
Because I've done it with my two little cameras.
That's one of the hardest things in the world when you're working with unpaid talent or just barely compensated talent. Because when you're like, okay, stop, do that again, stop, do that again, stop, do that again. When I'm working with paid talent, even if it's stage talent that I'm putting on camera and they've only done, there is such a remarkable difference because I'm not putting up with shenanigans. If I tell you to do it 35 times, you're doing it 35 times.
Yeah.
You're being paid to be here. It's time to go. And then there's other times when you're, like you're working with unpaid or mildly compensated talent, and you're asking them to turn the lights on for the 45th time. And, and I don't even say 45th time, like the 4th time. And they're like, don't you have it yet? And you're like, okay, no. Like I'm trying to slide focus. I want to get a low shot and a high shot. I got to get a medium shot. I want to get a tight shot. I got to get a wide shot, and you're like, and I got to shoot all of those multiple times because one of those is a safety shot. And, and so they're slowly losing their mind as they boil out of their ears. And you're like, yeah, so it's just tough. And that was the thing, like Pete got that on the 3rd or 4th video we did. He's like, we've run this. Hold on. We've run this 30 days.
30 days. 30 days? No, man. 30 days.
30 days.
30 days? No.
I'm going to play the clip. I'm going to play the clip you guys are talking about.
Have you seen this? The 30 days
yes,
clip?
It was like,
oh my God.
I love Danny so much, but I was ready to.
There was like, how are you not hearing 30 days?
You're like, just say it a little differently, or just say it with a little bit more oomph, and he would say it exactly the same.
The same way every time. And I'm like, how do you not hear what I'm like? Do you hear what I'm saying? Because you're not saying what I'm saying.
You need these? No, but there was 2 instances that I really opened my eyes when I was dealing with Stephen. The first one was we were doing the video cut in the Christmas one. This was a Christmas one.
Yeah.
Danny was in a car, and they needed to film him making himself look good in the mirror. And I love these trick shots. I just don't know how to do them. I'm fascinated when I see them. But, where they had to get it so that you can see his face. You can't see the camera, but it's clear enough that you can see what they're meaning to do. And it took a lot of technical in that. And I wasn't in the shot. I got to see it. And I was like, that's freaking fascinating. But it wasn't an easy shot. And you take those things for granted. You just see it on the commercial and it's like, yeah, it's no big deal. No, it was a hard shot.
It's 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes to an hour to get those 4 seconds of video. It was 5 seconds of video. And it was just like it's an hour and a half of work.
Yeah, and the dedication, I was like, you know what? It just put me in awe. The second time was we're doing our last video with the other tax man in the green tights. We'll talk about that one. So I'm in the green tights, and he brings in this outside talent. Now, mind you, that I'm usually the star of not because I do a great job, just because I just do crazy stuff.
Look at the ego. Look at the ego.
No, I just do crazy stuff.
I love that he refers to himself as the talent, though. As a star.
I just do the miserable stuff. Everybody else makes it look good. And so he brought in some of the ladies, and he was telling me, hey, I need you to do this scene. And dude, I was like, I don't even look somewhat as good as, they were just putting some emotion in it. And I was like, oh crap, they're going to kick me out of my own scene.
Lisa cried. Lisa cried in her scene, and Alyssa was like, I can't remember.
They were amazing. One of them was the opening, and the other one was a different type of video. And we were doing it at the same time, and it was dude, they're freaking good. Like, I can see why you would call them. Yes. And it was just like, wow. It just made me appreciate it that much more. Because, you know, you go home and be like, yeah, I did it. But no, they killed it. Yeah. They freaking killed it. And it was awesome to see that. And
being in front of the camera completely changes your perspective, especially from a videographer's perspective. Because
for sure.
Now you appreciate what the person in front of the camera is going through, because I didn't realize that it was so nerve-wracking. Like I would always just hit record and be like, okay, go, and you would see their face like completely change. Some people just freeze up, some people change their tone to maybe sound a little bit more robotic, and it's like, why are you doing that? But until I step in front of the camera,
you get them behind the camera and they're the most animated person in the world, and then they walk 3 literal feet, bam, and they're like,
it's like a complete flip. And now that I've done this for, you know, a couple hundred episodes, like I appreciate that. And I got to the point kind of like you, when you did the stuff, you did the steps, but you realize how hard it is to run a podcast. So that's when it kind of clicked for me, going back to the pivot. For me, it clicked. I was like, if I can be that provider for someone who doesn't have the technical knowledge, for someone who has a good message to put out there.
He's trying to say something. He's looking at me directly when he says that.
Are you kidding me? No.
You don't have to.
Someone who, no, because you did it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Some people don't.
To anyone else who can have a good message. But
anybody else.
Anybody else at all? Anybody?
Anybody?
But you know what though? I call it I know I'm probably saying this all wrong, but I personally used to call it like the Aborigine syndrome, where it's like they don't want you to take their picture because they feel like, you know, if you take it, you lose some of their soul. I feel like when you kick on the cameras, it's that Aborigine syndrome where they're going, it's on. Like, dude, you just TikToked like 3 days ago. We're doing the craziest stuff in your house, and you can't be in front of the camera. They're like, no. Dude, what?
Like, they have conversations like this, and they're completely fine. But as soon as that red light comes on, man, there's just something about it.
It's like flip. It doesn't sit
well.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Like, it's so funny because there's a part of me that wants to go over here because, you know, I'm a...
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
It's hilarious. I'm an old soldier, so like I'm constantly, like, my back is really bad. My knees are bad, so I'm always uncomfortable, and I'm like... Just stay in the middle of his frame. Just stay in the middle of his frame. Just try to live in the middle of your frame right now.
Just so you guys know, if you don't know how to do it, take pieces of tape and stick it right on your screen and then stay right where the tape is. That's all you got to do.
Nailed it. Yes, absolutely.
The little tidbits that we add. Not on the camera, though. Don't put it on the camera. Put it on the TV.
Yeah. Don't put the tape on the camera. Don't put the tape on the camera. Yeah.
Well, just to flip the script a little bit, Stephen, what made you start a production company? What kind of sparked that idea?
Yeah, well, it's kind of the work with Pete and Danny.
So you worked with him before EssToo.
Yes, I did. Well, I worked with him I've been helping people for years with marketing and you know, I mean, like just the way I'm built, I'm kind of I'm kind of an idea generation factory. So, you know, and I try not to hold equities and those things, but like if somebody comes in and goes, we've got this kind of problem, usually before they finish their sentence, I've had like 11 or 12 ideas that just help me, you know, and I can go, well, we could do this, we could try this other thing. And so I'm just kind of not everybody's like that. And so when they kind of told me, you're really, you know, like you've got an interesting skill set. My previous life working for the government and the military, you know, it was crisis operations, crisis reaction. And so it was like creating, you know, solutions during chaos to impossible problems with impossible timelines.
So that prepared you for the video industry, right? Because it's literally the same.
Basically, this exact same
one fire
thing.
after the next until you get the video.
Absolutely, yeah. And people rarely shoot at you anymore, so it's better this way. I like this side now.
That's funny. They really shoot at you. That's a perk of being on camera. They're not shooting at you on camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, rarely do they do it.
Rarely.
But I worked with some nonprofits. I worked with a local nonprofit, Hope for Her, and just helped them do some marketing, helped them do some website work and some design work. And so I've kind of had my hands in that for decades as far as like building those kind of skill sets. And so originally Amber Lee had called me from when she was at the store level and said, hey, do you have an intern? We can't afford you, but would you mind, you got an intern that would come in and do something else? And I'm like, well, sure. Yeah. Let me talk to my guy. And, and the poor guy had never really done anything. And so I was like, well, as a mentoring function, let me go help this guy out. And he's a great guy. He's in the Air Force now. He's like serving our country. He's amazing. He's been an amazing person since I've known him. So I brought him in as an intern, and then I was just like, hey, look, if I'm doing it for free because I'm just trying to mentor and get you going. And so I was trying to help him out, and I just stayed. And then at some point I looked at Amber Lee and was like, I'm not going to continue to do this for free. So like, let's take a look at what this looks like for, and so EssToo Creative kind of became, a more official thing, because she was like, well, Sergio, he wants to step aside, and we really want to continue the relationship. And so, so we really matured it from there. But really it was just me mentoring one of my guys, trying to help him get on his feet and, and helping him find his path. I'm a big mentor, so I love working with, high school and college age interns and students and stuff to try to help them find what their gifts are and their path and stuff.
Crazy middle-aged rent-to-own guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right, seriously, right. And crazy middle-aged rent-to-own guys. That's it. So, but I had connected with Pete and Amber Lee, and man, it was just like
synergy.
They were well, it's not just synergy. They were friends. Like by the time I started working with Pete, like officially, Pete was a friend. Wow. He was like a guy we go have lunch with. Like we go to lunch and we offer each other advice and all that other kind of stuff. So it was just, I love being a part of people's story. I spent a lot of time kind of building my own story, working for the government and stuff. And so, when I came and started working in the nonprofit sector, that's a very fixed kind of income. So now, starting EssToo Creative is more about me trying to help other people tell their stories, because I've lived a robust story myself.
Yeah, no, and once you have that passion for storytelling like I did, it's like you want to be that conduit for someone who doesn't have the know-how to tell their story. Oh, yeah. Right? Especially with podcasting. It's like these people aren't going to start their own podcast. They're not going to go on YouTube and tell their story, but by bringing them onto your podcast and my podcast, like we get to tell those stories, right? And not only that, like with our shoots that we do, like some of the interviews, some of the people we get to meet, they have incredible stories, but like they go unnoticed because nobody's put them in front of a camera before, or they don't have that drive to put their stuff out there.
100%. And I'll say this. I think the APro gig was probably our first, full gig together, and watching you interact with people, watching you interact with me, with the client, everybody, your desire to help people tell stories. Like I was like, oh man, dude, there's a kindred spirit there. I mean, like he and I are we're going to get along. We're going to get along so well. And I mean, and honestly, like I'm looking at projects now with BlueBox Digital in mind. With me
in mind. I love
it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I get Anthony involved in this? How do we include Anthony's team to help us, kind of build this out? Is there so when I'm looking at new projects now, I'm like, okay, what's the availability look like? And I mean, like we've reached out, we're trying to, we're trying to work it out so that we can do a conference together and do some other interesting opportunities. So, I mean, like when you find somebody who is just as interested, and I would say this, just like Pete, as fascinated in other people's stories as I am, as Pete is, then you go, man, that's a rare soul. And so, man, you just want to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and as equally fascinated and as interested in other people's stories and the world as I am. So,
so talking about that fascination, you've gotten awards for doing this stuff.
Yes,
Talk to me about the awards.
Oh, yeah, zero shame in that game. Yeah, this is award-winning. I don't know if you know, this is award-winning.
BlueBox you guys are making me blush.
CEO.
What is happening?
Anthony Rivera. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Rivera.
And how are you doing tonight? Yeah. No, but seriously, so when I first walk in and I'm touring the studio, I'm like, hey, man, I see a bunch of naked people up there. What's going on? So, and I say that in jest, they are these things that look
but then they look like Oscars. They do look like Oscars, right? There are naked people on his countertop for sure.
So I was like, hey man, that must be something really good, right? And so how did you get to that? And somebody actually said, wow, here's an award for it. Do it again. So tell us that story.
Dude, when I first started, I didn't have any ambition, right? I just love the medium of video as a storytelling tool, and I just did it because I love it. And people started to tell me how good my editing was. Again, I'm super humble. I'm never going to brag, but you guys put me on the spot, so I'm going to brag.
There we go. There we go. Take it away, Johnny.
I'm going to tell you right now, I am actively engaged in having Anthony do some editing work for me. He is as good as he says he is.
I am too.
Just so I get close to the camera. The dude is as good as he says he is.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Zoom in.
Yeah, I do.
No, and honestly, like people started to give me accolades and saying, you know, this is really good. Like, and in the beginning, I wasn't charging that much because I wanted to get my business off the ground. So I was super cheap. You know, my prices were on the floor. Like I could barely make good money, right? And like I had a few clients in a row tell me like, hey man, you got to raise your prices. Your video is so quality. Like you need to be charging more, like not for nothing. And like, I don't want to pay more, but you need to be charging more for your services. Yeah. So I was talking to a good friend of mine. I went to school with her, Julie Womack. She's always been, you know, a proponent of Anthony, and she's always been pushing me to work harder and do better. And I showed her one of my videos and she's like, you know what, you should submit this. You should, because you have to submit, you know, to the Tellys to be even considered. And she was on the board. She didn't get to judge my video, but she's on the board of judges.
I just want you to know she didn't judge it.
No,
he didn't have a hand in it.
She was in a different category, so she didn't get to judge my video. But she has seen some of the quality stuff that's come through here. Through for her to judge, and she's like, honestly, Anthony, like you're up there. Like you need to get a Telly under your belt. Not, if anything, just for legitimizing your BlueBox studio, like just for legitimacy. You need something that's going to show people that you're good at what you do, not just, you know, show a video on YouTube and hey, I'm good, hire me. Right. So the first time that I did it was on 2020 because I was really proud of a music video that I had worked on. And I literally, I did all the pre-production for it. I shot it, I edited it, and I published it. I literally did the entire thing myself. And that's one of the ones that my friend Julie was like, you need to submit that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to submit. And sure enough, the first time out, first time getting a Telly.
Wow.
So
that's talent.
That's good for you.
But it's not just one and done. How many do you have?
I have 4. So
I've got 4.
I got 4.
This guy.
I did one and done 4 times.
This guy. Look at now I'm inspired, man. I'm like I gotta elevate my game over here. I gotta get some stuff in. Like,
see, the thing about awards is that they're addicting. It's kind of like Pringles. Once you get one, you can't stop. So.
You know, now I get to say, I got a guy.
Tattoos too, right?
I got a guy, and he's got awards. He's got awards, and they're good. They're good awards.
Once you
they're
get that
very
award,
good. They're the best awards I've ever seen.
They're the best ever. We the best. They're the best. We got some awards. You know, but it's true though. Listen, and the reason I bring that up is because if anybody doesn't know, if you're not coming to BlueBox and getting it done, you should. And it's not just because of the awards, and it's not just because of Stephen, it's not just because of myself, because Andy does a great job at what he does, and it will elevate your game. I know it will. You know, and I appreciate what I get from when I come here, and I love coming here. And then, you know, hopefully we'll be having this conversation 5 years from now in a little bit of different format. I don't know. We'll see where that comes in. Yeah. But
I would I would offer the other side of that, Pete. If we're providing shameless plugs for our friend Anthony, I'd offer this is I would say the BlueBox Studio is a force multiplier. If you've got something that's good and you want to make it better, Anthony's the guy that can probably get you connected with better. Oh, and I don't want to not say EssToo Creative because we'll make you better too. But what I'll say is that my partnership with BlueBox Studios has made us better too. So, you know, that teamwork that Anthony and I have right now, but BlueBox Studios is a force multiplier. They will make your content better, 100%.
Okay, you said it better than I did. Now that bothered me.
Now, I don't know if I said it better. I just wanted to add to it.
Well, no, but it's literally what it's. But that's what he did for the podcast, and that's exactly what happened. It was like it was good, and then it got better, and that's exactly what happened when I came in. Now I'm usually sitting in that seat, so it's just different for me to say, but it's just the God honest truth. Now, when you talk about ideas, now if you've never been and an idea session with Stephen on the second floor in the middle of the day, just throwing some random spaghetti against the wall. We have done that. And let me tell you, we got far. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, that's a great idea. It was like, okay, we need to pick one of these 50 ideas because we got to do something.
Oh yeah, we started having to narrow down for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And
but we had almost the whole year planned out in one session because
it was great. I mean, we literally just started going back and it was like, my God, what is this? And it was absolutely nuts. But, you know, I love the fact that the ideas are probably priceless because you can do something, but without an idea to spark it, it just doesn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so you can buy the cameras, you can buy the equipment, you can also sit there and look into the camera deep into its eyes and really not go anywhere. You know what I mean? You have to have an idea.
That's very true.
And so when we had, our sessions, so to speak, I mean, he opened up some avenues for my brain work that I was like, okay, I'm not going crazy.
Thinking.
Yeah. It was, you got the creative juices going, man. I'm like, I'm not crazy. He's thinking the same thing too. Right. So, and then I ended up doing it. So I don't know what was worse, but it was just so much fun to watch the creative mind at work, and because sometimes you're like that, nobody's going to like that. No. And he's like, yeah, let's do it, man. We do this and this and that. We throw a little hint here. You got a camera over there. And then, there's this one scene where we're laying down, right? We're laying down and we're supposed to be doing the spy thing. We're laying down. I have this radio and I'm like, hey, you gotta do this. I see him over there.
It was so dumb. It was so dumb.
And then he was like, yeah, I read you, Pete. I see him too. And then we turn and we're like right here. Like literally, like he could have brushed his chin hairs on my nose, right? And he was like, okay, let's go. And we get him. It was hilarious. But it was those type of things like, how's that going to work? That's not going to work. No, he made it work. It was absolutely crazy. So much fun to really do. And it's that creative mindset that's why I have Stephen on speed dial. Literally, he's one of my favorites on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, there's the three amigos here.
Yeah,
so,
it's
man,
fun.
I guess, right. We're just all So, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this every time. And Anthony, we talked about it on the APro shoot, man. Like, it was like when you weren't there on the shoot with us, it felt like we were missing part of the team, like it was like,
well, I tried to be, man. I tried to be. I appreciate that. But it was nice to hear that some people have heard or been wanting to participate or participated on a podcast and they heard about it and being able to go over there and just kind of solidify that it is getting somewhere and we're doing it for a reason. And it does have that outreach. And people from all over the area, whether you're from north, south, east, west, one company to another, I think I heard of that. I might watch an episode or two. And I can tell you guys right now, and you guys know this, if you're not doing short form content, you're dying. Nice. That has definitely changed the game of everything I do. That short form is like people just love 2 or 3 minutes of content and then move on.
And it acts as a funnel too, because if somebody likes your stuff, they're going to go looking for the longer stuff, right? Because I'm a podcast listener. Like, and when I'm in the car doing long drives, I just throw in a podcast. And the way you find podcasts is through that short form content. Because you're not, like I said, there's so much podcasting out there. If you just search for something, you're going to get a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
So if you've already been exposed to that kind of content and you connect with it and it like resonates with you, then they're going to go find the long form content. And that's how you get long.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Long term.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
What I will say is that if you are looking for anything to get into something, you got to reach out to these guys, whether it be S2, whether it be Blue, whether it be S Blue or
S-Box.
Microsoft, you can't say nothing about that one.
Whether it be Bluetooth or S-Box, however it looks.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys do a great job, and that's why I wanted to be on the podcast today. I mean, when we have these conversations about how do you reach out? Where did you start? What'd you do? What caused you to get here? Man, God bless the broken road. Because I can tell you right now, there was no single transaction. It was a bunch of crazy, broken, I need help transactions that led me to you guys. And it's probably been some of the best things that I've ever done in my life, that if I ever take back and say, what were the great moments? It's not going to be like, I got this promotion here. And it was like, you know what? I got to sit down with some great guys and do some great things. And it's out there in the world, and you can't take that away from me, no matter what you do. It's out there. It's some good stuff.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, long after I'm gone, you can look up the YouTube archives and, see some of what we've done. And I cherish that. I really do. I cherish that to infinity and beyond.
That's amazing.
For those who are about to podcast, we salute you.
Yes. We salute you. There we go. I will tell you, man, it's not easy, but it is so worth it. It's so worth it. I mean, what if you had to say, and all the things that you've done, Anthony, and I'm going to ask this to you, Stephen, what activity, what subject matter have you gotten into that has brought out the best in you as far as videography, something that's pulled at the heartstrings? You say, you know what, I made this from the deepest set soul of my life, and I put all this into it, and I have an award to show for it. Like, what was something that pulled out of you and you said, I did it. I did this?
For me, it's the storytelling, and whether that's doing music videos, which is what I've won the awards for, or whether it's short films, or eventually I want to get into feature films. That's my passion. That's where I want to take this, right? So I want to make BlueBox originals. I want to still stick with the BlueBox, but I want to start making more narrative stuff. That's where my passion really lies, man. It's the storytelling.
What about you, Stephen?
Brother, I cannot agree more with Anthony. I love telling stories. Yes. I love highlighting stories in the world. And I've done that with hype videos for local volleyball clubs. And, Anthony and I worked on this project with a local construction firm, and their 40-year story is just phenomenal. And, and I brought Anthony in on the tail end of that project for some of his editing prowess. And we delivered something that the client just resonates with them, and that they really truly loved. And
I got so many chills editing that video, man. That was such a good story.
Such a good story.
That was one of my proudest videos. Yeah.
Well, if you get a chance to throw it in this podcast, man, add it in, because I'd love to see that. I mean, so now that you got those passion projects, and I've said this to him, so I'm not just saying this right now, but I've actually told Stephen I want to make a movie.
Let's do it.
I want to make a movie. I have no idea he's the idea guy, but I really want to make a movie.
Let's figure out the short. Let's do a short story first, Pete. Let's do a short story first.
We're going to do a really long short. Okay. This is going to be a 5-minute short.
I will say this. I've got a crew of kids that really want to be a part of that. I don't think they know what they're getting into, because the work is mind-numbing when it comes to making sure that you direct and produce something. But
I think that's a good thing, though. I think when somebody gets into something not knowing how hard it's going to be, it makes them not back out. Like if you know how hard something's going to be,
they just get them to sign on, and then they're just like, I got you now.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right on that, for sure.
That's like with the Merchant Marines, right? Yeah, sign this. It's a great deal. You're going to be on the water for 6 months. And they're like, what? What? No. You're already on the boat.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done. Signed.
Yeah. But I want to do that. I want to eventually get into something like that. And I don't know the time limit as far as when it'll get done, or the time length of how long it'll be. But
it'll be a passion project.
Yeah. I just want to be able to say it was part of that.
So for me, it really is. It's truly, I'm hunting for the right story to tell. And if I can find that right story to tell,
it's finding the right script. If you can find that script, we can take it to the finish line.
Yeah. Because it's a huge investment in your time and love and passion and focus. And I mean, it's long nights. It's eternal weekends. It is a crazy amount of work when you're producing something on your own. But I'll be straight. Like some of the stuff that Anthony and I have talked about in recent weeks and in months, these are the guys I would want to do the project with. I mean, just because they are as passionate about storytelling and as fascinated with people. And really for me, mine is finding the funny. I love to find the funny. I've lived a life where, the dark and stormy is present and accounted for. So
yes.
I love to help people. I love to lift spirits. That's just kind of who I am. I love to be a part of that. So finding the funny is something that I really want to be a part of too. So, I would agree.
Let's do it. Pete can be our star.
The right story. Yeah. Pete will be the star.
Pete'll do it.
He's already the star. He'll be our star.
I've done some stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah. We put his wife Brittany in one of the videos that we did for the industry hiring thing. And she's quite good, but I tell you what, she vibrates in front of a camera. She's
like, oh no, she was, she told me, she's like, we'll never do that again. Because last time. It's funny you say what she said, because I was like, hey babe, just so you know, you're in this scene. And she was like, do what?
Wait, what?
And so when the guys finally came over, she's like, you're never going to do that to me again.
Yeah, I told Sergio, I was just have her walk through the room, kiss him on the top of the head, and say, how's it going? And and she was like,
Yeah, if you know my wife, that's so not her. But the good thing was, and I know it sounds crazy, but it was me, so that it wasn't like the stranger that she was doing it to. I mean, it was a normal situation that she just gets to act in front of the camera. Like I remember when people were like, Eminem did such a good job. He was acting his life. Of course, he did a good job.
Like he's telling his story.
He's telling his own story.
Sure.
You know, and listen, not trying to take away from the guy, but it's like when you say certain things, like how was it so good? Well, he got to tell his own story. I mean, I think anybody would be like, this is me. You know what I mean? So she got to do it, and it was great. You know, it worked out good. Yeah. But you know, I when I look at people, and it's funny you talk about stories. I think that everybody has a story.
Agreed.
You know, and if you go deep enough and you really get down to like to the really nitty gritty, I mean, I think what makes a good story is you find somebody's insecurities, you find what keeps them up at night, you find what makes them tick, and then you find how they walked through the fires to get exactly where they are. Like, how did you overcome that? How did you overcome like these childhood worries?
That's what a lot of people don't realize is the flawed hero, right? A lot of people, when you're telling stories, a lot of people don't understand the self-deprecating man, the person that, you know, or woman the person that can laugh at themselves in the midst of chaos and trial and tribulation and whatnot. They tend to be the winner, because in the end, when you've got somebody who's gone through it, and, you know, because especially gone through the ringer, the person who wants to have the hero with no flaws, it doesn't resonate with anybody.
No,
people want to be people want to they resonate with a person who has the same or similar letdowns and experiences and tragedies that they have. And they're usually fascinated by the boldness to tell that, because not everybody has it. Yeah. And so the ability to look at tragedy and kind of go, all right, let's navigate through this.
And there's nothing more satisfying than pointing that out to someone who has gone through it and doesn't realize that is the story. Like, they have it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They have the story.
They're like, I got nothing to tell. And then before you're done, you're like, oh my God, that is a story. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I think. But really, with you, both of you guys, Pete, I mentioned it at the beginning, but that's the thing about being fascinated. Like, finding people fascinating is so critical, because they don't realize, like, everybody looks at me because they'll hear an army story, or they'll hear me tell a story about being in Afghanistan or Iraq or Bosnia or anywhere of the other places I've been. And they're all like, I wish I had a story like yours. And then I'll sit and talk to them for a while, and I'm like, you have an incredible story. What do you like? Yeah, you don't have to leave the country to have some crap happen to you. Yeah. You know, like, you know, everybody's got that struggle. Tell that story. Yeah. You know, we call them testimonies, but I'm like, there's your story. You know,
what's funny? He's like Iraq and Bosnia, like I say Publix and you know,
right.
Like
McDonald's. Your name dropping.
Iraq and Bosnia, and I'm like,
I didn't mean to. It's not a flex. It's not a flex.
I just went through drive-through. Okay, that's what I do. You know. And again, that leads back to, you know, that story. Like, I think everybody just has that story, and it's all. And listen, you guys know better than I do, but I always feel like, you know, when you really get deep down, it doesn't matter who they are. There is something in there. There's a crack in the vase. There's something going on. It's like, you know, you think, oh my God, they have the perfect life and the perfect hair and a perfect wife or husband, and they got all this money, and it's like, that's not where their flaws lie. It's inside. No. It's an internal struggle every day to get up and make this facade look good to you. And, you know, I mean, money doesn't solve all problems. And there are so many things that happen.
No, money introduces an entirely new level of them.
Oh, God, yeah. And to the umpth degree, you know?
Yeah.
And going back, like, one of the problems, and everybody, you know, you might get hate for that. I'm just going to tell you right this. I'm going to say this to you too, and you guys might know this. I am not a Superman person, right? I've always been the Batman person, and for the exact reasons you said. Superman grew up in this farm, and he always had this great life, and he stands up. He's literally what they call the Boy Scout, right? He has no internal. He just, I'm gonna fight for everybody, and I have all these powers, and I'm good. Yeah. And it's like,
everything's
that's
pretty
cool. It's cool, but like, it just never resonated with me.
Yeah.
Go to Batman, and I'm not saying he's better, not better, whatever. I resonated with that because there is a guy who has everything, and he is still so immensely flawed that he's not a guy who puts on a mask. He's a guy who has a mask that lives that life, and he puts on the facade of being a human. And that's crazy. Yeah. You know, when your billionaire life is your facade, that's wild. And that story to me is like, that's a story. That's somebody I want to know. What are you brooding over, man? What haunts you at night? What keeps you awake when you have everything in the world? What keeps you awake at night? And it's like, yeah, I saw my parents killed right in front of me, and I can't get over it. Tell me that story. You know what I mean?
Well, like this, yeah, this young woman who is part of my wife and I's. We have a church group that comes and meets in our home, and this young woman she's trying to get her professional pilot's license and some other stuff, and she was doing her night flight. This is last week, and she's doing her night flight, and the engine just stops.
Oh God!
And she crashed an aircraft last week, and
she's alive.
Survived.
Oh my! Wow!
She perfect flying, barely missed power lines in the dark, hits a tree, spins the plane around and lands flat and survives it. Wow. NTSB is we don't even know how you did it. I mean, holy cow, the engine just stopped mid-flight.
We need to start calling her Scully.
The new Scully, seriously. Right? Yeah. The new Sully. Yeah, for sure.
Sully. Yeah, Sully. That's what it is.
I'm so, my encouragement to her as she told me this incredibly harrowing and terrifying and tragic thing that happened, I was like, this is going to be an incredible story someday. Right now it's terrifying, but understand that this is an incredible story of what it takes to practice and to train and to be ready in the midst of an emergency, and for you to respond calmly and to make I'm like, this is what they make movies out of.
A lot of people are so close to their own story. They don't realize that it's a story until someone like us be like, oh my God, I want to make a movie out of your life.
Right.
100%.
Forest for the trees, man. Forest for the trees.
Yeah.
And you're just too close. Yeah. You're just too close to it. And it's like, I mean, I'm telling you, girl, after you got off your knees making that prayer, that thank God that you were okay, you need to tell that story to somebody.
Right? You need to write it down.
You need to tell that story, because I mean, how do you not get drawn into what was going on at that moment? Wow.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, what we do is in all shapes and sizes and forms is probably the oldest thing that humans have been doing for forever, and that's storytelling. We're just telling somebody's story, and that resonates with everybody. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I guess I love about it, is you get to pull out that story or talk about their story. How did you get here? What made you do that? What made you decide? What was your most fun moment, your not most fun moment? How did that work in your mindset? And you get to tell that story. And I think that's why podcasting kind of stuck with me. It's you get to tell the story, no matter what it is. I get to tell that story.
You get to bring that out of that.
Yeah, Sometimes you
got to pull hard.
You're pulling. I mean, you've seen it before. Yes. But you get to pull that story out of them, and before it's all done, they're almost happy just being able to talk to you and say, you know what? I really appreciate
someone
that.
Listened.
That was great. Yeah,
someone cared.
Yeah, you actually listened to my crazy fanatical story and was like, nah, it wasn't crazy. That was the most amazing thing I've heard in a really long time.
So many lessons in that. I'm glad to put it out into the world.
Absolutely right. Yeah, for sure.
And I just love telling that story. That whether it's a bedtime story, whether it's a crazy story, whether it's a love story, it's telling the story of somebody. How did you get here? The story of one. Let's talk about you and what you've done.
That's amazing, man. So what's next for you, man? What's the next 8 to 12 months for the RTO show? What's coming up?
Holy cow. So there's some flying around. So my new position as a franchise trainee, I'm going to be flying around. So on top of what I'm doing with APro in April, going to LegCon, I will also be doing RTO World in August. And then FRD, the Florida Rental Dealer Association, is going on it's in May. It's in early May, which we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably be 6 other places this year for work, and then trying to work on a book situation of my own. And
dude, you're killing it, man.
Yeah, we were talking about a little bit of growth. Yeah.
This guy's got producer credit written all over him, right? Holy cow, man. This guy's got going on.
I've got, I'm working on the speech thing, because that's something that I want to get into more and more and more. So with work, they have this DX3 leadership courses that they're giving out. I want to be a part of that. I also want to do more public speaking, so we're working on that. And the book thing that I've got working on, and so that all I can really say is that I'm trying to get that done before the end of the year as well. And
you want to get a sneak peek?
And I you know what? I will do my best to
hook some brothers up with an advanced copy, brother.
Leave us
sure.
If
I promise to buy it on Amazon, will you send me an early release?
I will get you guys together on that one, and then. Last but not least, there is a big push this year to start a different type of business that I wanted to be a part of, not to stop what I'm doing, but to add that to what I'm doing, and really be a part of the rent-to-own industry in a different type of way. So we'll see how that goes. 8 to 12 months, we'll figure it out. What do you got going on, man? I mean, you're on both sides of the camera now. You're with EssToo Creative, making all kinds of stuff, not only for my industry but for everybody's industry, apparently. I mean, what's on BlueBox's calendar?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, man. The business is growing. I'm getting a lot more clients. I think with that pivot that I made into podcasting, this has become my main source of income. So I still do the production side. I still do the commercial stuff, and I can't wait to team up with you, man, on a few more projects. But yeah, this podcasting thing has kind of taken off, and I love it. I actually do love doing this because, like we spoke about, I get to sit in on so many other people's conversations, and it's like with CEOs and like important people. Like these guys are like the legends,
like
with
movers
you,
and
like,
shakers, right?
Exactly. Like with the legends, I had no idea that these people were that important, and just to hear their side of the story is just, I love what I do, man, and I love doing it from here, and just being that facilitator for people. So I'm gonna double down on the studio, hopefully get a bigger studio. Just keep growing.
Just remember your camera. You need a camera.
Just keep grinding, man.
EssToo, what are you doing? What are you doing, Stephen? What's going on? What's on your calendar for the next 12 months?
Man, we got all kinds of stuff, man. Just I've got 2 trips this year out of the country. Going to be in France, doing some storytelling there, and then going to be hopefully in the fall going to be in Nicaragua helping tell the story of a trip there, and then going to be at RTO World, hopefully with Anthony and
I can't wait to see you guys in my stomping ground. I really can't wait to see you guys there.
Try to expand our RTO repertoire, as it were. We're Anthony and I are looking to team up there. So good opportunities there. Really just, and just kind of just keep on keeping on, but always open for new opportunities, new clients, new and exciting stories to tell. I'm just like Anthony, man. We are men in search of a great story. And if you want us to help you tell that story, if you want us to do it together, if you want us to do it individually, we are the right team to do it. So we're just looking at doing those things and some of it together and some of it apart, and and just continue to kind of build the business and do our best to stay fascinated with people.
No acting this year? You're not going to be on the stage this year?
I was asked to produce and direct a show, and am a little too busy this summer, but I think I might put my toe back in. I don't know if I'll be on stage. I had an opportunity to do this show that was recently produced called Moon Over Buffalo, but I kind of waved threw my hat out of the ring because like things have just been crazy in our world right now. So yeah. But hopefully I'll dip back in on the acting side.
Well, you got to let me know when you do, because I really enjoyed that last one, and watching you work, man. It was like 7 different actors in one. It was absolutely amazing. It was really good. That was
a fun play to do. Yeah. I love stage, the audience feedback and the immediate response versus trying to build. I love theater work. Yeah. So I love doing both sides.
Some of the best actors that you see out there, they do theater, and for that reason, it just makes them better at their craft. And I think that's what I love about seeing you guys on both sides of the coin, whether it be on whether you're interviewing or being interviewed, whether you're filming or being the actors, whether you're on one side of the fence or the other. It's building that repertoire, and I see these some of these big guys, and like what is that person doing on Broadway? Because they're honing their craft. Yes. That's what they're doing. They believe in that. And that's what I believe. I believe you got to be in it. If you're going to be in it, be in it. Hone your craft, get better at it, do better every day, and figure out how you can get into some shenanigans, man. That's what it's all about. Like how do you make the shenanigans?
Get off the couch.
Just looking for trouble in all the wrong places.
Yeah, in all the wrong places, right?
Well, Stephen, if somebody was interested in working with you, man, where can they go?
Man, Stephen at EssToo Creative.com. Stephen at EssToo Creative.com. They can email. You can hit me up on our website. Website, super easy to navigate. It's one page, and it's just a questionnaire.
It's very simple. Yeah.
It is simple.
Very simple. You want to see our work? You want to see my work? I could send you some samples, but I'm one of those weird creators, man, that I just, I never take time to do my own stuff. I'm too busy working on your stuff. So,
he's like one of the garage repair guys. Like he'll fix your Lamborghini, and then you look at it, he's got the busted truck in the back, and he's like, no, it still works. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So like that's why I love, like when I looked at Anthony's website, I was like, holy cow, this guy's yours are amazing. This guy's amazing. I'm like, look at all this content.
No, the website is amazing. The website is amazing.
I need to step up your game. But, but for me, man, like I'm just like, look. It's going to take you to a homepage, and that homepage is going to have a questionnaire at the bottom. You fill it out. We can work together. I can send you some stuff. But but that's kind of where we're at, man.
That's it. That's it.
Easy enough, man. So Pete, where can they find your stuff, man?
So listen, if you guys want to find me, go to the RTO Show podcast.com. You can see me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And anytime that you want to hit me up at pete@the-RTO-show-podcast.com. We are on all the social media pages. So all you got to do is look the RTO Show podcast, and I will pop up, and you can send me anything you want, interact. Let's talk, and let's get you on the show.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you both for joining me today. This is a freaking amazing conversation. One of my favorite episodes I've shot so far.
Let's do it.
And, Sweet, man. Not for nothing, but I consider you guys friends.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Same here.
For us, it's going to be at BlueBox Podcast on all the social media platforms. You can go to podcast.blueboxdigital.com and check out the form there if you want to be on the podcast. And other than that, that's it, guys. Thank you. Thanks again.
Well, gentlemen, it's always great as usual. And we'll catch you soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right. See you.